Hello everyone. This video is the continuation of our restaurant POS system series, and in this video we will connect our frontend with the backend and complete our authentication process. Okay, as well as we will also implement protected route feature in our project. Okay, so let's start. So let me tell you, the package I am using in our project is React query. You can see that this is tan-stack query, and this package provides us React query. And basically React query is a powerful library for data fetching, caching, synchronization and state management in React application. Okay, and it simplifies when we are working with server side data. Okay, so these are the key features of React query, like auto caching, notation API, auto refetching and parallel queries. Okay, so from these key features we are using few features because we only need that in our project right now. So let's install it in our project. Okay, so go to the examples and installation, copy this and go to your front end and install it. Okay, and we want one more package, that is Nodejs, which is used to show error or success messages. Okay, right here Nodejs npm, and copy this and install it. Okay, and one more package we have to install it, that is npm install axios. Okay, which help us in API calls. Okay, so I think we are done with our packages installation. Now let's set up React query and Nodejs in our project. Okay, so just go to the main.jsx files in source folder, and here first of all import from Nodejs. What we have to import, that is snackbar. Okay, snackbar provider. Now wrap this app with snackbar provider. Okay, and here pass a property auto hide duration is 3000, that means 3 seconds. Okay, and now let's set up our React query. Okay, so right here import from tan-stack React query, and what we have to import, that is number one is query client, and number two is query client provider. Okay, now just wrap this app with query client provider. Okay, now here we have to pass one props, that is client. So let's define it first. So here write const query client, create an object of query client, and here default options, queries, tail time. Okay, that is 30 seconds. Okay, so for 30 seconds our data will be fresh, but after 30 seconds data will be automatically refetched. Okay, so that's an important feature of React query. So just write here query client. Okay, so we are done with the setup of React query and Nodejs. Now let's go to the https folder, and okay, we don't have https folder, just create one folder here, https. Here we will define our all API endpoints. Okay, so just write index.js, and first of all import axios, and we have to create an API instance of axios. Okay, so write axios.create, and here we have to define base URL, that is import.meta.env.wait backend URL. Okay, and one more attribute that is with credential true. This is required when we are using cookies. Okay, now here pass the headers. Content type is application /json. Okay, and accept also application /json. Okay, so this is our API instance. Now we have to create this env environment variable. So inside your POS frontend folder, create .env file and write here this, and our backend URL is http localhost 8000. Okay, this is our backend URL. Now let's define our API endpoints. So number one is login. This will we have to pass data as well. Data API. This is post request, and endpoint is API /user/login. Okay, and here pass the data. Another one is register. Okay, here we also have to pass data and write here API.post /API user/register. Okay, and pass the data. One more is get user data. Okay, so write here data, and here we don't have to pass any data because this is a get request. So write API.get and endpoint API/user. Okay, so these are the routes. Now let's go to the login component, and here we have to send data to the server. As this is a post request, we have to use here mutation API of React query. Okay, so just write here login mutation, and for using mutation API, here we have to use one hook, use mutation. Okay, and here we have to use hook, that is use mutation, and inside this write mutation function. Okay, let's first import this from our React query. Okay, here we have to write mutation function which will receive a request data, and here we have to write login that we defined in our HTTPS file. Okay, and pass the request data here, and if logged in successful, then write on success we have to here just destructure data. This is response data which we get from the server, and destructure it, and here just console it for now. Okay, and if we got any error here, then also just console it for now. Okay, now go to the handle submit, and here write login mutation dot mutate. Okay, and here pass form data. Okay, now let's check it whether it is working or not. So go to your browser and write here auth. Okay, I think our server is not running, so just start our server. Okay, this is our login screen. Open console in the right side. Okay, now let's test it. So I have one user registered, that is test@gmail.com, and this is the password. If I click on sign in, then we got an error, reference error, login is not defined. Okay, so this login is not defined. We have to import it. From HTTPS index. Okay, now let's test it again. Okay, you can see that we got an error here. XML HTTP request at Ethna from origin has been blocked by CORS policy. Okay, I cannot send request to our backend from different port. Okay, because of CORS origin policy. So what we have to do is just go to your backend. First of all, stop our backend server, and you have to install one package, that is CORS. Okay, so just install it and rerun our server. And inside your POS backend folder, go to your app.js, and here just write app.use CORS. Okay, now and let's import it. Okay, and here we have to pass few things. Number one is credentials true. This is required when we are dealing with cookies. Now write origin HTTP. Here we have to write our front-end URL. Okay. Okay. Now let's move this at the top of this. Okay. Now our server is running fine. Now let's test it again. Okay, so you can see that user login successful. Now let's test it with some wrong password. If I click on sign in, then here you receive one error, that is unauthorized and invalid credential. Okay, and this error I want to display here like alert message. So for that, just go to your login component, and here first of all import enq snack bar. Response.data.message. Okay, and the variant is error. Okay, now if you click on sign in with the wrong password, then you can see that invalid credentials. Okay, now the next thing is if we logged in successful, then we want to send the user data into our Redux store. Okay, so for that we have to first create a user slice, and then we have to store that logged in user data to that user slice. Okay, so just collapse this POS backend and go to your Redux store. Just create user slice.js. Okay, and here first of all import create slice from Redux toolkit. Okay, and here just define initial state. Initially it is false. This attribute I will use for the creation of protected routes. Okay, so now let's create our slice. Here name is user and initial state did users. Number one is set user. Okay, now let's export it. Now go to the store.js and here write user slice. Okay, now let's import it. Okay, so I think we are done with our user slice. Now let's go to the login component and send the data. Okay, first we have to destructure the data which we want to send into our Redux store. Just write here const id, name, email, phone and role. Okay, this is coming from data, from data.data. Okay, now here write dispatch. Okay, so we need to import dispatcher here. Okay, let's import the udispatch hook. Okay, now here write set user and ask these things. Okay, now we have to import this set user as well. Okay, I think we are done with this. Now let's test it. Okay, so first of all reload it and go to the Redux. You can see that the initial state, this is the initial state. Now let's log in. Okay, you can see that the data is populated here. Okay, so our user slice is working fine. Now if the user is successfully logged in, data is properly set to the Redux store, then we have to redirect it to the home page. Okay, navigate to home route. Okay, now let's test it again. Just write here test@gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, click on sign in. Yeah, you can see that I am logged in successful. Then I am redirected to the home page. Okay, now here we have to display the name of logged in user data. Okay, here as well, and the role. Okay, so first of all just go to the headers, go to shared folder, headers, and first of all we have to get the data from the store. Right here user data, use selector, here write state.user. Okay, now here user data.role, otherwise just write NA. Okay, and here just write here role. Okay, and here user data.name, otherwise test user. Okay, so you can see that I am logged in. My username is Amrit and my role is admin here, so it is displayed. Now let's change from here as well. So go to the home page, greeting card, and here we have to write the user data.name. Okay, user data.name, otherwise test. user. Okay, and here write const user data. Okay, so we are done with this. Now let's add one more button here for logout, and so just go to the headers, and after this we have to add one more button that is for logout. Okay, now let's check it. I can see that here we have, this is the logout button. Okay, so now let's create one more API quickly for the logout, then we will integrate our registration. Okay, so go to your backend and controller, and inside our user controller here create one more API for const logout. Okay, and this is also async request response. Next, and write here try catch. Next, error. Now here we just have to clear the cookies. Okay, so just write response dot clear cookie access token. Okay, this is the name of our cookie. Okay, now let's send response to the client. Okay, now let's export this. And go to the routes, user routes, and here create one more route for logout. Okay, this is post request. Just write here logout, and before this we have to pass our middleware. Okay, now our backend is done. Now let's go to the front end, and inside HTTPS create one more endpoint logout. Okay, okay, now just go to the headers and create a function click event here and then logout. Okay, now let's define it. So we have to first create our mutation, so just write here logout mutation, use mutation function is logout, and on success just console the data for now, and we have to remove the user from our reducer. Okay, so just write here dispatch. Okay, first import it. Okay, here write dispatch remove user. Okay, and on error just console the error for now. Okay, and inside this handle logout, here write logout mutation dot mutate. Okay, after dispatching remove user, we have to navigate user to login page. Okay, so here just this. So currently I'm logged in. Now let's click on this. Okay, first of all open your Redux tool so that you can see data will be removed or not. So this is the current user which is logged in. Now let's click on logout. Yeah, you can see that remove user and the data is removed from the store and we are redirected to our login page. Okay, so we are done with our login and logout feature. Now let's complete our registration feature as well. Okay, so just click on sign up, and here console, here open your console. Okay, and go to the register, and just we have to copy this mutations. Okay, just copy this mutation, login mutation, and go to the register and here paste it and change this login to register mutation. Okay, and here not login, this is register. Request data on success. For now just console the data. If any error, then we have to show the alert. Okay, now here just remove this and write register mutation dot mutate form data. Okay, use mutation is not defined, so we have to define this. Okay, now let's register our user. Okay, okay, you can see that user registered successfully and we got our data. Okay, after the successful registration we have to remove this data. Okay, and I want to go to the login component. Okay, so let's make it. So here after successful login, no need to console the data. Here copy this, and this is success data.message. Okay, and here we have to remove the data from the input field. Okay, so just copy this and paste here. Okay, now I want to send user to login component. Okay, so just write set timeout should be 1500 seconds, and then okay, now let's go to the auth page, and here you can see that this is set register is false. So just copy this and paste here and go to the register, and here receive the props, and after successful login and set is registered to false. Okay, now let's check it. Okay, here we got an error of bad request, but why our snack bar is not working? Okay, so Okay, here we have to import it. Just import here. Okay, now let's test it again. Sign up. The user already exists. Okay, so just write here 1 and click on sign up again. New user created, and we are redirected to employee login. Okay, so I think we are done with this. Now let's log in. Click on sign in. Yeah, good morning to test user admin. Okay, now click on logout, then we are redirected to our login page. So we are done with our login, registration and logout feature. Okay, now the next thing is to protect our routes. Okay, so let me show you why. Currently I'm not logged in and I am on the auth page, and if I try to access our dashboard page, then you can see that I can access dashboard page and orders page as well. So this is not right. Only logged in user can access these routes. Okay, so we have to protect our dashboard page, orders page, tables page, menu page. Okay, so let's protect it. Go to your code editor and inside app.jsx first create a function protected routes, and as a params write here children, and here we have to import our isAuth variable which we created in our user slice. Now write here use selector state.user. Okay, now if user is not logged in, then we have to navigate user to authentication page. Okay, but if user is logged in, then we just render the children. Okay, now go to the layout, and here I want to protect this home page, so just write here protected routes, and inside this write as a children pass home. Okay, now do the same thing for our orders. Okay, so I think protected route is done. Now at the auth page, like if user is logged in, then we don't want to access auth page, just redirect to the dashboard page. Okay, so here first of all import isAuth, and here write if isAuth is true, then navigate to dashboard page, otherwise just display the auth page. Okay, so I think we are done with our protected routes. Now let's test it. So currently I'm not logged in, if I try to access orders page, then I can't access those page. If I access dashboard page, then you can see that I can't access those page. Okay, so now let's log in. Okay, you are logged in successful. Good morning, John there. Now the next thing what I want to show you, that is just first of all go to your inspect and click on Redux. You can see that isAuth is true right now because we are logged in right now, but whenever I reload this page, then isAuth will become false and we will be redirected to our authentication page. Okay, so just reload it. Yeah, you can see that we are redirected to authentication page, and here isAuth is false. This is why, because whenever you reload your page, then Redux store will be refreshed and all the data present in Redux store will be removed. Okay, and we didn't logged out here. You can see that cookie is already present here. So what I want to do is, whenever we reload our page, just call one more API that we already defined, that is user data, get user data, and get the user data from the server and then send that data to the Redux store. Okay, so this thing will help us to deal with this kind of issue. Okay, first write the code, then it will become more clear to you. Okay, so just close this, and we have to create a folder for hooks. Okay, here write use load data.js. okay, and here write use load data. Okay, and we have to export this. Okay, now here first of all we have to write here use effect, and here we have to create a method fetch user async, and inside this write try catch. For now just log the error. Okay, and we have to call this function. Okay, now here write const data await get user data. Okay, so we have to define this endpoint first. Copy this and go to your https folder index.js. Okay, so we already have get user data endpoint defined here. Just import that. Okay, now here write console.log data. Okay, now let's test it. Okay, just save it and go to your app.jsx. Here just write use load data. Okay, save it. I think we got an error, just inspect it. Use effect is not defined. Okay, just reload this, and you can see that we got our data, logged in data, that is John Doe, and this is the user data. Now let's set this data to our Redux store. Okay, so go to the login page component and copy this. Okay, and here you have to import dispatch. Okay, and if there is any error, then we have to dispatch remove user and navigate the user to auth page. Okay, and define here okay, and here just write dispatch. So whenever these two variables change, then only use effect will called. Okay, now let's test our application properly. Okay, so let's reload this page and see what happens. So you can see that first we redirected to auth page, and then we will redirect it to our home page because authentication is true here. But this is not good. Let's add loader here. Okay, because sometimes server takes some time to get the data, and in that time I want to display a loader here. Okay, so just go to your shared folder and create a loader here. Okay, fullscreenloader.js. Okay, and here just remove this and add one more div with class name. Here I don't want to use tailwind css. Okay, so just define class name here and go to your app.index.css file and here and just paste this css. Okay, don't worry, I will provide this in description. Okay, now let's go to the use load data here, and first of all create a state is loading, set is loading, if state initially it is true. Now here write finally, set is loading false. Okay, now after this I want to return that load is loading state. Okay, go to the app.jsx and here just write const is loading equal to each state. Okay, and here if is loading is true, then simply return full screen loader. Okay, now let's test it again. So if I reload this page, you can see that a loader is visible here. Okay, now go to your orders page, just reload this. Okay, tables page, just reload this. Okay, now if I go to the auth page, then I can't go to the auth page because I am logged in right now. Yeah, you can see that. Now let's log out. Now let's again try to access orders page. Okay, I can't access orders page because I am not logged in right now. So that's all for this video.